What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 341. It is the Sunday kicking off before the Switch 2 launch and Summer Game Fest kicks off. And of course, we've got some games to talk about today. But I don't know why I threw "but" in there. But did not fit into that sentence. But here we go anyway. I'm here with my two best pals, the Thai guy himself, looking dapper. My friend, how we doing this early Sunday morning?
I'm doing good. I'm in the middle of one of those tight reviews where there's a lot to do and not enough time, but it's a fun game. So that's me. Review life. I think this is my 5th review of the month.
Yeah, you've been grinding on reviews. That's a bit much.
I've been grinding, man.
For sure.
Especially
when you're doing games like Oblivion, which take forever. So
you do seem to get the long games, Travis.
Yeah.
These days I do, and let me tell you, it is not cost efficient.
No. I often feel for the people that have to review 80-hour games because it's like, I don't care what you're getting paid. It cannot possibly make sense to play that game, then write the review, and then get that check.
I will say the rate is typically, sometimes you get a little kicker, but typically it's agnostic to the size of the game. And so my hope is that it reaches equilibrium with like the 5-hour games. Like,
yeah, you need to do more Choo Choo Charlesing.
Yeah, dude, the Choo Choo Charles review was so goated. They gave me the code. I had a draft for them the same day because it was like a 1-hour game, 90-minute game. And I got paid the same amount I got paid for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The game is like 3 weeks to review. So yeah, it's a fun life. But
Hope's still working on that game, by the way.
I know he is. Yes,
still working is a little generous, but it is.
Yeah.
I have gotten halfway through that game. Yes.
Yeah. He's Gen Z working. Got him. All right. But I'm doing good. How are you, Hoke? How are you?
That's the lawman. Well, you will Travis. Address him properly.
How are you, lawman?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. What a day.
Me asking you how you're doing.
Well, we got obviously we're going to be talking about Elden Ring Nightreign as our cover topic today. We've got some news about Electronic Arts canceling games. We've got some rumors or reports on Xbox and what they're doing with their portable system. We've got other union contracts we're going to touch on for companies. But of course, we'll kick it off with the community and some super chats. Let's kick it off with Googleman is here bright and early this morning as he usually is.
Googleman81, watching people play Elden Ring Nightreign is probably, definitely, almost half as fun as playing the game with a controller. Thanks, Nvidia Truffles.
Nvidia?
Yeah.
Nvidia. Legitimate reading.
Yeah.
Truffles. Yeah, actually, funny enough, they did a live stream for Nightreign like as part of their launch with a bunch of the big creators and everything. And it's like I started watching, it was interesting, but I didn't want to know anything. Like I like discovering things myself, so I quickly turned it off. But seems to be doing well, which we'll obviously talk about. So
it seems to have a lot of players. Yes.
Yeah. Googleman, thank you as always for kicking us off this morning, my friend. And as always, Vintage Willow kicking us off as well with 5 SG memberships. Thank you as always, Willow. As I always stress around here in the SG side of the house, these are the only things that help pay the bills in the SG side of the house. So these are very, very appreciated. So thank you. All right. So let's see here. We've got a couple things. We had a bunch of comments after last week's show, but a bunch of nice comments, funny comments. Where did I have these stored? Bear with me.
I'm sorry. I don't want to hear from them people being mean to us.
I do.
Honestly, we don't get that on the SG side. It's super rare to get a mean comment.
Well, I have been pilloried once or twice on the internet, so I am used to mean comments.
I want to shout out Jerry W92 says, he's new to the show and everything. He said, we all have our tastes. He said, I like the dynamic between the three of y'all, and you have a new subscriber with me. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you. Expert B is a regular around these parts. He's always watching. He said, I decided to start Roadcraft after your guys' discussion. A couple hours in so far. It's exactly the cozy, relaxed, fun game I needed after Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So I forgot I'd shout that one out for you, Hogue.
Thank you. I love Roguelite.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, not a cozy game, though. Explain that.
We even shout out to Gary DeBrown, a long-standing member here on the SG side of the house. He even says, as an LA resident and SG member, I'd be sincerely happy to meet you guys and drive you around LA when you're in town for Summer Game Fest if you need it. So we have, local friends ready to hang out and help us if we ever need it. We got to get Hogue out there first. I don't know when he's going to join us for Summer Game Fest.
I'm happily ensconced in the Midwest.
But anyways, shout out to the community. Awesome as always. Let me get to Tide's picks here. Tide, what are you hitting us with today? Let's take a look. I literally saved this and haven't even really looked at it.
We are Dragon Quests. I don't know.
We're
like
chibi
chibis.
heroes.
Yeah,
We're
chibis.
heroes.
Yeah.
Chibi boys.
I like, of course, that me and Travis have kind of the accented. Oh my God, the larger heads looking like true chibis, and Hogue just looks like the cutest knight with the cape, and he's just looking Hogish.
It's just what I am.
I feel like I probably would have made a pretty bad knight. I don't know about you guys. I don't have good vision. I'm kind of like average height, scrawny. I don't know. I feel like I'd be a really complainy knight, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you'd be better at LARPing than true knighting.
I also haven't done that. I've never been to one of those Renaissance fairs. Never been to one.
No, they could be fun.
I would
There's
not
a
have
really
guessed
big
that.
one here.
I know,
would not have
right? I
guessed
wouldn't
that.
have guessed that either. And I know I haven't been. But yeah, it's weird. All my friends have, and I don't know. I always miss it. I'm always working or whatever.
I figured you and D would be into that.
Yeah, I
Me
can see you
too.
accidentally hitting people with a flail.
Me too. It's never come together. Maybe I'll do it one of these days. Maybe with y'all. Maybe we'll all go to one. That sounds fun.
Come on out. We'll go.
Do you guys think you'd be a good knight?
Do I think I'd be a good
think
knight?
I think I could have been a decent knight. Yeah.
I think you could have been a decent knight, Ains. I feel like if you followed orders and stuff,
Do
like
things
you
for the
could-
right reasons. I got
No.
eyes.
That's not a good knight. No. You gotta just
Sure it is.
blindly follow.
Well, I mean,
orders.
the true definition of a knight, not reality.
Yeah, valor
But-
and chivalry and honor.
Yeah, that's just what they tell you you're doing while you massacre villages.
Well,
Hogue, do you think you'd be a good knight?
Certainly on the valor and duty and honor aspect,
Why?
yes.
Why?
Oh, by the way, Solar Flare points out Ains has ears. I do. I don't have a headset on, guys.
That's right.
It's true. And it was
Fantastic.
easily placeable in your pauldrons, but the AI declined.
I didn't know you had ears, Saints.
Yeah.
never seen
It's rare. No, I hide them usually.
Dark Knight
Yeah.
Ains looks like he has a secret.
He does.
Yeah, I do have the dark
secret
armor,
is
don't
that
I?
he
I'm
likes
like a black
you.
knight. I also look like I'm up to something. Yeah, definitely.
Your secret is that you like me.
And why do
You're
I have
a
normal
movie
eyes, but
star.
you guys got the big anime eyes?
I don't know.
It's like the AI just pulls random things from all over the place and pieces it together.
I look pretty good. I look like a very fun party member.
Yeah, that could be one of your new avatars right there. I'd snag it.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think my chest is that strong though. It's got a strong
Let's see.
chest.
Yes.
Yeah, that should be
Yeah.
inverted a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. Looks like there's some extra room in that armor. I'm just rattling around in my armor.
Ty, thank you as always. Appreciate the picks every week. So thank you. Travis, I forgot to ask you ahead of the show, but did you have any lore dump in mind before we start the game talk officially?
Yeah. Do you guys have a hidden talent?
A hidden talent.
Yeah, like a talent that we know that you race cars, like that's a hidden talent, except for we already know that talent. Do you have like other
Yeah.
stuff you do that you don't tell the group about?
It's a good question. Nowadays, I don't think so. I was a very, very good piano player at one point. I'm not anymore.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I mean, so it's a bygone era hidden talent.
When you say very good, what do you mean?
I've talked before, I think, about my dad being a music theory and classical pianist, and so started teaching me when I was incredibly young, like 4 years old. Played about 2 hours a day. I had him teaching me and a separate teacher for years. So by the time I was like 6, I was playing well advanced, and then I played a little bit in my 30s to get back into it. But I don't play anymore. So not really a hidden talent. It's a gone talent at this point. But I am very musical.
You don't think you have it in you? You don't think
I will play again at some point. I just don't have time right now. So once I retire, I think it's going to be something I pick back up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hogue, you got any talents hidden in there in that body of yours?
You know what? Some days I don't know if I have any blatant talents. So I don't think so.
Really?
I don't play any musical instruments.
Okay, alternate question then. If you don't want to do hidden talent, which I don't believe, by the way, everybody's got a hidden talent. It could be something.
Yeah.
Holding a fitted sheet. My wife can do that. That's a hidden talent.
That's a trick.
That's a real trick. What is your COVID, like, you know how everybody gained a COVID hobby or a COVID like thing that they did like during that period? What was your COVID thing?
What did I do during COVID?
I'll give you an example.
A lot more.
Okay, you just did the stuff you were already doing, but you just had more time for it, you think?
Yeah, I think so, because like a lot of people got into gaming, right? And I was already set. And so we had Animal Crossing. We were playing Animal Crossing every day during the height of the pandemic. I suppose if I have a hidden talent or something I learned during COVID is that one of my daughters is homeschooled and I teach grammar. So I do the grammar class. I've learned various things over the last couple of years of how better to reach her with the lessons in grammar. I don't think I'm an excellent teacher or anything by any means, but I have learned a trick or two in reaching this very specific student.
When you say that you teach grammar, do you mean like you got a certificate, so like you are able to teach grammar, like you taught a class or something?
I teach my daughter grammar. We have slots for classes, and I teach grammar.
You have slots for classes? Is she homeschooled?
So Hogue, your face right there is what happens to me with Travis sometimes. Sometimes, Travis, we say something and you literally just don't hear it. Like you don't pick up on it. He literally just said she's homeschooled.
She's
okay. Homeschooled. Wow. Okay.
Yes. We have one in high school and one in homeschool.
Yeah. Oh, is this like a social experiment?
No, it's not a social experiment.
Just to see what happens to them?
They were in the same school, and for one of them, it wasn't working out. So we decided to try homeschooling, and it's been a great decision. But yes, I picked up how to teach my youngest daughter over the last couple of years.
Interesting. I had a best friend in middle school who was homeschooled, and he was very poorly adjusted. You know,
thank you for
socially.
There you go, Hogue. Travis, what's yours?
My COVID skill was cooking. That was the thing I learned during cooking. I have a couple talents that I think are hidden, but I'm not super good at hiding them because I talk about them all the time, like comedy writing and stuff like that. So I feel like everybody already knows my talents. I run a lot. Is that a talent? I run 50 miles a day. A lot of people don't know that about me.
50 miles a day.
Not 50, 15. I run
twice. So you're running to LA and back every day?
Yeah, that's 500, but yeah, close enough. I run twice a day, and each time I run like 7 to 10 miles, depending on how I'm feeling. So yeah, I run a lot. That's not really a talent, but something about me people don't know. But yeah, I learned how to cook during COVID. Like pretty aggressively. I've always been a decent cook, but like during COVID, I was like, nah, I'm gonna actually learn like theories and stuff. I'm gonna learn how to do this for real. Watch YouTube videos.
You said pretty aggressively, and in my head, I'm just thinking Tie Guy Travis, the aggressive chef.
That's right. Yeah. I hit things really hard. It doesn't.
That would be hilarious. I'd watch that.
Yeah. I feel like plating would be my Achilles heel as the aggressive chef. I'm just, this looks absolutely terrible. This tastes really good, but the plating is just aggressive.
Only half of it got on the plate.
Yeah, you just kind of throwing shit. Yeah.
Zombie asks if you do any like 5Ks or marathons or anything like that.
No, my friend has been like, dude, you run so much, you might as well do one and get like a medal for it or a certificate or
Yeah, 'cause
something.
the
And I'm
5K
like,
is only what, 3.2 or something?
yeah, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I hate crowds. I don't want to run with other people. Like I run down the beach. It's like nice and open. It's chill. Nobody has to talk to me. I don't want to be in a crowd of people. It's really my problem. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that was a quick, that was a good ad hoc lore dump, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we talk about some games, boys? So,
Okay.
Yeah. You do it.
Obviously, Night Rain released this week, and that's going to be a little bigger topic for Travis and I to touch on. So, Hogue, I'm actually going to start with you.
That's right.
You
I'm
said,
prepared to contribute.
Nice. So people know what game we're talking about. You should just
That's-
have the person who doesn't have anything to say should just have the game logo that we're
Just the
talking about
avatar.
as their thing, and then they go off. Yeah.
We could make it the full frame if I just store a picture ahead of time, you know?
Well, that's true.
But yeah, Hogue, you were telling me before we went live, of course, that you were really putting some time into some games that you were already playing. They're not brand new.
That's right.
but
Yeah,
hit
a
us
little
with it.
different Hogue notes this week because I had an unusual week in terms of work and some other obligations that I had to hit. I really did not do my usual deep dive into the various electronic shops and go find something to tell you about as a gem. So go play Roadcraft. Still awesome this week, as it was last week. But otherwise, I've been spending my time hammering away at longer games. The one that I played the most this week was actually the 100 Line, Last Defense Academy, which may be the longest visual novel in the history of visual novels. I don't seem to be making headway in it, but my girls who are playing with me are enjoying the heck out of it, so we'll continue to keep hammering away and get further than we did at Xenoblade Chronicles 3, as an example. But love that game. Also was playing a bunch of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, which we had not gotten all the way through before. It is a very weird version of Ace Attorney, I have to say. They have notched up the weirdness in this particular series, so looking forward to more of that. Played more Fantasy Life, Roadcraft,
Hold on one second,
course.
Hogue.
Yeah.
On Ace Attorney, so I know the that stretch of games has games all over the place. Where does that sit?
Yeah, so Apollo Justice Trilogy is essentially the second set of games. So Phoenix Wright is the first set, already a little bit unusual, but not off the deep end. Apollo Justice takes it up one notch of weirdness, of craziness. So we are about halfway through that trilogy and proceeding onward. For whatever reason, my daughter, who is the big fan of Ace Attorney, thought we only had like 2 or 3 cases left. And I had to tell her we had like 2 or 3 trilogies or duos left, right? So she thought we only had a couple cases left in Apollo Justice. We were about halfway through the first game. Then she thought we have that Great Ace Attorney game and we have the Miles Edgeworth game. And I said, well, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is 2 games, so it's going to be a bunch of cases. And then Miles Edgeworth has a couple cases of his own. So we've got a lot more Ace Attorneying to go. And she was very excited about that. My oldest daughter and my wife are going to a summer camp, her first sleepaway camp this summer. And so my youngest daughter told me that I had to be ready to play Ace Attorney every day while they were gone. So
Nice. That is a good daughter. What case are you on?
In Apollo Justice?
Yeah.
Tell
me what's happening
Singing
on
case, lyrics.
Nice. Okay, you're meeting Gavin and going to the concert. Okay, cool.
Oh, she loves Gavin. She loves Clavier Gavin and the Gaviners. Yes.
So does my wife. Yeah, sure. Her one criticism is of the franchise is there's not dating options, and I'm like, how would that work? You play a very specific attorney character. I don't understand what you want.
Your wife wants to date this rock star prosecutor?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. With an accent? Yeah, of course. He rides motorcycles and stuff. Yeah, she's super into that.
He does. His hog is broken.
His hog is broken.
I'm told.
Hashtag broken hog.
Hashtag
not to be confused with broken hogue.
That was a tough time in my life. Yes.
Yeah.
No. Ace Attorney is fantastic, and we've basically been doing gaming sessions where we'll play a bunch of hours of 100 Line, and then we'll play like Ace Attorney is separated into investigations and trials. We'll play whatever chapter we're on of an investigation or a trial, and then we'll go back to 100 Line afterwards. So it's been all of the Japanese anime visual novels you can eat in Hogue House. as we kind of circle in towards the end of the school year.
I would love to be in that state right now. I'm kind of waiting for reviews to quiet down so I can play something like that myself. It sounds like a good life.
Yeah, no, we've been having a lot of fun. And then I was going through the store to look at the Days of Play sales on the Sony store and wound up picking up one that Travis had recommended, not to me, but in general, Goat Simulator 3, which is an oddball little thing. It's essentially like a open world Tony Hawk platforming game. So I didn't know what to expect from Goat Simulator 3, and whatever I might have expected would have been wrong. And then because I was playing...
I'm surprised you play that one. I figured you'd hate that game.
Oh, I don't hate it. It's not for me in kind of like a true sense. Like, it wasn't made for me. It's not the kind of thing that would appeal to me. But at 85% off or whatever I got it on the last couple of days, it's totally fine, right? Like, I don't regret spending that $10. But yeah, it's not made for me. I'm not going to just recommend it to everybody. If you want to be a goat and try to solve puzzles mostly by attaching your tongue to things and moving them in different places, then you can check this one out and earn things like a t-shirt cannon that you strap to your back and changes the clothes of people you hit with it. It's super weird. It is not plot or narrative based at all. You basically just get random puzzles around the world that you can go solve when you feel like it and earn cosmetics for your goat, including being things like a tall goat, which is actually a giraffe, or a skateboarding goat, which is actually a shark on a skateboard. So it's a very weird game.
Yeah, goat is a state of being, really, more than a...
So it would seem. Yeah. So it would seem. But I've been playing that one, and then because I was playing some of the Grand Theft Auto remasters after like Rockstar had gone in and fixed them, and I was enjoying Vice City, I wanted to play an open world game with a little bit of a stronger story, a little bit more serious than that. And I'm also excited about Old Country. So I decided to play Mafia Definitive Edition, the remaster of the original Mafia, for the bulk of my gaming time yesterday. And I love the Mafia games. Cannot wait for Old Country. Love them to death.
Yeah. Wonder if I could review that one. It's a good game.
I still haven't played Mafia 2 or 3.
I know. You still haven't
recommended.
opened Mafia 3, you psychopath.
I did. The funny thing is, I literally was pulling out a bunch of the crap I have from storage. I got to send you guys pictures. It's absurd how much gaming crap I have. But anyway, I found it. It was sitting back there. It's still sealed. Mafia 3 Collector's Edition. Yeah.
I love Mafia 3. Mafia 3 has a stronger narrative and focus than a game design. That's the only thing I always try to tell people is like there are really, really boring parts. They never quite
It's a game that I struggle to get through the missions, and then every time I get to the cutscene and story part, I'm like, oh, that was worth it. But if they had a different game design team and the same story team, that story team, man.
And I think some of their more directed missions, like their boss fights and things, are really, really good. But like the overall, here's what you're doing 90% of the time is not. Like, I understand why it got the reviews that it did, but that story is one of my favorite in games.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, awesome. Funny enough, I was going to mention Play Days at the end because as the weird guy still buying physical games, they have some really good sales, actually, PlayStation. So I went back and picked up Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PS5 because I just have the standard PS4 edition without the DLC and all that, and I've been wanting to play through that. I figured, not that I will, but if I get to it, it'd be cool to play some of that before Yote comes out. And I think I got the Uncharted collection that they released a couple years ago with all the old Uncharted's kind of fixed up for like $20 or something. So yeah, it's good.
Nice.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that I think that sale is really good. It's really strong. I highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, that's what I've been playing. Long form kind of forever type games, Fantasy Life, Roadcraft, those kinds of things. 100 Line, which only feels like a forever type game. But I really, really like that game. So if you at all like strategy role-playing games and can stand, you don't even have to like it, but can just tolerate visual novel storytelling in kind of anime Japanese games, 100 Line, Last Defense Academy is a really good bang for your buck with a strangely good strategy role-playing game element, which honestly, it doesn't even need for all the rest of what's in the game, but it is good on both scores. And that somewhat differentiates it from like a 13 Sentinels, which is a fantastic story that I really loved, but their strategy component, not so great. So check out the 100 line, check out Roguecraft, play Mafia if you haven't, like Ains, and enjoy games.
There you go.
Good advice.
Zombie says, I wonder what the age demographic of Bitcast is. I'm guessing 40.
Does he mean us?
No comment.
I think he
Or
means
does he
us.
mean the audience?
Alex said 50, so I'll hit Alex next week when I see him in person.
No, I think he means the viewership, right? He means the people watching the show.
That is unclear.
I think it's older audience for sure.
We definitely have some season members.
I could tell you my channel's demographics, but they're pretty much split down the line between Virtual Legality and Hangouts and Headlines.
Got it.
Zombie did say viewers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever looked at SGs, to be honest with you. I'm sure it's probably a little older, though. Yeah. Anyway.
Just on the reaction to the things I say, I think they're old.
Travis, what before we get to Nightreign, what else you've been playing that you can actually talk about? Anything good?
I can't talk about almost anything I'm playing. It's very cool.
Shut up, you.
Yeah, I know. So I have nothing to say.
I'm special.
No, I did some cool previews that aren't going to be out for a while. I'm working on a review I can't talk about at all. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I am we're doing this thing when the Switch 2 comes out where we're taking all the Switch games that didn't run well or at all, and we're playing them on the Switch 2. And I have my first assignment for that, which is Hogwarts Legacy. So I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch, and I'm going to play it on the Switch 2.
But you know that one's getting a glow up. Are you checking any of the ones that like don't have any announcements for improvements?
Yeah, they're doing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I don't know if that one has an announcement.
Those have announced improvements from Nintendo.
Yeah, so I think they're doing reviews of like the version as it exists on 2. So it might be that they're picking the ones that they know are gonna have something different about them.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm on that. We're doing a lot of stuff with Switch, so I guess I can talk about that since those are games that are already out. But yeah, I'm just heads down on stuff that I'll be able to talk about when we have our next show, which would be cool.
I have a comment to one of our commenters, Ains.
Yeah.
Go for it.
New ZZZ Zombie says, on the tin, probably the old and British demographic. And I would like to respond to this commentary. So this is a criticism of me saying that it does what it says on the tin, makes me old and British. And I want to tell you that when I started dating my now wife in college, she told me that half of what I said was archaic and old, and she had to look it up to understand what I was talking about. So that's a me thing. That's not age. That's just Hogue.
You are old though.
I was old when I was born.
Just an old soul. Same. And to give credit to Hogue, I knew exactly what he meant when he said it. So yeah.
Me too. I also thought, wow, he's old.
Well, you know what other game that does what it says on the tin is Elden Ring Nightreign.
Yeah, sometimes. I think it does a lot. Doesn't do a lot of stuff it says on the tin, unfortunately.
Sounds like we may have some disagreement here.
All right, I'm going to pause right here and add my contribution. I will be listening, and I will jump in if I have anything to add.
Do you have a wireless headset? Because that would be cool if you could just like go in the kitchen, get a snack,
you just walk around,
be
just
kind
making
of a
food
viewer for a while. That'd be cool. That's what I would do.
All right, Nightreign.
Nightreign multiplayer Elden Ring. So here's my main criticism with Elden Ring Nightreign.
Well, before you do that, let's get crossplay off, because not having crossplay is stupid. It's dumb. It should have it, and FromSoft needs to focus on their online networking technology solutions for future games. I'll leave it there.
So you already kind of said my main criticism, which is,
well, I mean, we can cross that. We know that's a problem. Like, let's put that aside. But it's a big one.
I don't think we should put it aside, because what is the one thing From Software has reliably always done really badly?
Yeah,
the online component to games. Yeah. And then they made an online multiplayer focused game, the thing that they do worst. And so all of my criticisms about this game are about the fact that it's an online focused game and that does not do online well. It doesn't have crossplay. It doesn't have voice chat. It doesn't have good internet. I get like, I don't know if you've gotten like failed matchmaking. Well, you're probably playing with a crew, but like you do matchmaking.
I
you
have
get,
not. So Alex was talking about this. I have not played with a crew, and I've had zero issues. I've matchmaked.
Yeah, I've
no
had issues where like you get match made and then it crashes and sends you back to base to go find another match. So that's been happening to me. And then sometimes you're in game and people will lag out, or you can't really tell where they are because it's doing that thing where they're skipping around. And so all my problems with this game are all the problems you would expect in a FromSoft game. It's just I expected them to solve some of this because it is a online multiplayer game specifically. And so
I agree.
That's my big problem with this game is like I just go on it, I want to have a good time, and then I keep remembering FromSoft does this poorly. End of criticisms.
I don't disagree with that. I think I mean I never use voice chat in games. I'm always in a party. But it should have voice chat. That's a non-starter. It should have crossplay. Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I'm not like, I think FromSoft, especially one of the things I was going to say today, right? Elden Ring has sold over 30 million copies now. It's one of the best-selling games of all time already. It's only been out a couple years. There's no reason with their success and their growth that and publishing partner with Bandai Namco, they shouldn't invest more in technology solutions for online. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So they don't get any excuse for that. Yeah,
it's really all the negative stuff I have to say, though. Which
then we're probably on the same page because once you get past that,
it's frankly a big criticism, though. Just to be clear, like the game is a multiplayer game, and everything around multiplayer so far has been not impressive. But that's really all I have to say. Like other than that, like I like the format, I like what they're trying, I like that it's a new idea. I like the boss fights and stuff that I've done in the game.
What is the format? What are they trying?
They're doing. Go ahead.
Sorry, Travis. Just to be clear, so if people don't know this game, let's set the table a little bit, Travis. Let's assume people don't know this. It's called Elden Ring Nightreign. Let me be very clear. It uses the assets from Elden Ring. It does not play like Elden Ring. It is drastically different than Elden Ring. It is a sped up, action-based roguelite in the Elden Ring universe, essentially. Made to be
reminds
played.
Me of Naraka Blade Point in the way it plays, just in terms of like you're a co-op crew.
That's actually not too bad. Yeah.
You're able to jump over things and climb really easily. It kind of feels like you have like a lot of mobility.
You're like twice as fast. You can run endlessly. You can jump and scale very quickly. There's no fall damage. And so what happens is you fly in. It's preferred to be played by teams of 3. So you can play solo. Solo is a very challenging prospect right now, but you play in a team of 3, you drop in, and it does have like the battle royale ring that closes over time. But basically you're trying to level, kill bosses, kill enemies, make discoveries, get better items, as you work your way through a couple days. So it's like you kill a few bosses, you get to the day 1 boss. And if you beat that, you go to day 2, it starts over. You go do it again. Keep leveling, keep powering up. You beat the day 2 boss, and you get to go fight the Night Lord, which is like the finishing a run, if you will.
But how set is this? How roguelike is it? I don't understand.
It's roguelite. It's the world locations get randomized, enemies, bosses get randomized when you go in. So you fly in on an eagle, kind of like a battle royale, and you drop in. And, all the stuff around you, all the loot's randomized, everything that you pick up. The roguelite element is that you have some progression for the different character classes, but you also have these things called relics, which you unlock or find or discover and get at the end of your run, which give you various attribute bonuses and, things that you can put on your character over time to make yourself stronger.
It also has an interesting character class model, or rather than the RPG element where you're kind of making your own character, they have a few preset canonized characters with a specific voice, which I think actually could end up helping the game. I don't think I'm far enough, if there is any farther to get, to like know for sure how they use it. But it's kind of interesting from a FromSoft game where your character specifically is a nameless nobody who is stronger than God. In this one, they're like voiced characters that you can interact with when you're not playing as them, and I think it's kind of
they're in the home base, and they do have kind of background stories as you would expect in a From game, right? And you can discover more about them the more you play. From what Eric was telling me, because I'm still pretty early too, excuse me, as of this morning, I think I have about 6 hours. And he was saying that basically you can find things in the levels too, and then you can actually get kind of like quests specific to the characters. So he said there's definitely more progression and deeper than it seems at the start. So I'm not there yet, but yeah, it's pretty unique. I am surprised because I wasn't hyped. We talked about this game before, and I wasn't hyped for this game. In fact, I canceled my collector's edition. You know, this shit I usually buy. I canceled all that, and I was like, well, I'll just pick it up, normal base edition, and see if I like it. And I played the beta, and I was like, you know, maybe I'll have fun with this. I don't know. But I'll tell you, since I started playing it on Friday night, I've really been loving it. Like, I just want to keep doing another run because I keep discovering new stuff. I keep finding ways to kind of refine how I'm playing and approaching things and getting better at it. And I've had a lot of fun with it so far, surprisingly.
Yeah. It also feels like your mileage may vary depending on if you're playing with a group or not. I'm playing on Xbox, and because there's no crossplay, I don't have anybody to play with. And so playing matchmaking is like as bad as matchmaking is in pretty much any game like this, where it's like
roll the
complicated
dice.
and communication is important, and they don't have in-game party chat. And it's just like, I am basically sort of guessing what my teammates are thinking and trying to like follow them and stay together as much as possible. So yeah.
The ping system's good, but I mean, it doesn't mean that the people you match with are going to use it effectively or even follow it. So,
or they'll ping different things that are completely random and outside of the ring, and you're like, "What are you guys talking about? I'm not going to go do that." Like, just like a little bit of, it's set up in the worst possible way if you're playing it alone. And I've noticed that like Mitchell Saltzman talked about this a lot. I talked to him about it while he was working on the review. Because also Ben Curtin was playing the game, and I like match made them together so they could play the game together. But Mitchell Saltzman was having like a lot of trouble with the game when he was playing it alone, and then when he got like a crew together, he was like, all right, this is better. But yeah, I'm experiencing kind of the bad end of not having a crew right now, which I'm sure will change. I'll meet people.
Definitely better with a crew, 100%. Yeah, even just playing with one friend. I was playing with a buddy Walt the other day, so it's two of us with a random, and even just that helped a lot. So if you have three, I'm sure it's way better. But
I can imagine the difference between solo and a buddy is always that they can revive you, right? But
yes,
is anything in the game set up for like somebody needs to distract this guy so you can hit him in the back, so you need to have a second or third, and if you're solo it just really doesn't work?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, kiting in these games when you're playing with more than one person is always a big thing, right? So if someone,
to his point, there's not like special mechanics where you're like, oh, they couldn't do this in a solo Souls-like game. I do think that's a missed opportunity, because there's not any point where like two players have to go and do one mechanic and then one person has to like fight the boss. It's basically like all three players are running around like little rat boys and attacking the boss, and it's more kind of chaotic.
So if you go down, Hogue, you basically have a health meter essentially when you go down, and you're down but not out, and your teammates attack you to basically kill that meter, and that gets you back up. And if you die repeatedly, the meter gets bigger and bigger, so it's harder to get them up over time.
I'm swinging swords at my match-made teammates who went down for the fourth time. Well, I haven't gone down once yet, and I'm just like, bro, I hate this.
I think this morning. I've got this Night Lord.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You assured me that you were not thinking bad thoughts if you had to carry someone in a game.
Yeah, it's more the not communication and just like not really knowing what's going on. It's different if you're like on the mic and you know exactly what's going on, and you're like, hey, dude, it's okay, you're good, we got this. But in this case, it was like they'd get up and they'd run around outside of the ring and then die again, and I'd be like, what are you doing, man?
I'm just saying, I know we've had conversations where you've talked about whatever, Trials of Osiris, something hard, and I've said, well, you'd have to carry my butt, and you've said, no, it's okay, I am comfortable doing that. But then you just took an aside here for the fear that I always have when the guy is not dying and I'm always on the ground, that they're thinking, oh, look at this guy over here.
Yeah, this was like on launch day. I don't know. I kind of just assumed that people playing would be like more like veteran at this. People
are definitely figuring this game out.
Yeah, I was too new at the game, Hogue, to be like in any carry position. I did end up carrying us through that boss fight. We did win, but it was just like I probably spent more time swinging my sword at my teammates, trying to get them rezzed. That's how you res people.
The biggest annoyance right now is that as you're going through the levels, it's time gated, right? Like you want to be fast. So you're trying to run and kill stuff as fast as possible. Once you get to the Night Lord, that's a arena battle with a boss. Doesn't matter how much time you take. There's no time limit. And so what people haven't figured out is they're rushing. They get to the Night Lord and they just are like hacking away and they keep getting downed. And it's like, look, you need to learn to stay alive. So if you get one pro tip, get to the Night Lord, focus on staying alive rather than doing fast damage, because once you get downed a couple times, you're screwed because it takes too long to
hit
get you up.
So long. Yeah.
And then, the even the first Night Lord, like if 2 of the 3 go down, you're screwed because then he's aggroed on you and trying to get the other 2 up is a mess. So
the first Night Lord is the one who there's 2 people running around.
It's like Cerberus. No. It's the first Night Lord is the 3-headed beast. It's
like that Cerberus. One.
Yeah. But yeah, Solo, they did say already. So Bandai Namco or FromSoft said they're making some adjustments next week for Solo to make Solo a little more playable, because right now it's freaking tough.
They should also do duos. Like, if you only have one other friend.
They said that, by the way.
Game right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they said they made it for 3 people, like a lot of the kind of co-op games now, and they added a solo mode because they know people would want to try to solo it, and they were like, well, shit, we should add duos too. So it sounds like they may add duos in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely different. Like, it's weird because it doesn't play like, it's hard to say it. Like, it plays like Elden Ring, but it doesn't play like Elden Ring. It's much faster. The timing of things is a little different. Obviously you're switching weapons and upgrading in different ways. And, I really have enjoyed it more than I thought I would, like I said. So I can't wait to play more of it. I don't know the longevity, right? Like, I know some of the reviews that people have told me. I didn't watch any because I didn't want to see it. Some people have said like they got through all the content in like 15 to 20 hours, which, take that as you will. I don't know if that's going to be true for everyone or just people in groups. I don't really know. So I'm curious to play more and kind of see more of the experience.
Yeah.
Who's the character you prefer right now?
I prefer what's his name? The one that you start with.
Wilder or something, I think it is.
Like, yeah, something like that.
Wilder.
Wilder.
Okay.
Yeah, the one with the tiny shield. I just like perfect pairing. You know me.
Okay. Yeah, I tried him. I tried the Guardian, the Eagle dude. I tried Iron Eye, the bow guy. And the executor.
I haven't tried the bow guy yet. I've just been sticking with like the main guy for now.
Executor's mine. If you like pairing, Executor's the boy. That's the guy I'm using. So he starts with the katana, but his one ability is like special parrying, and then he gets a supercharged slash. He's awesome.
Nice. That's cool.
So, and then they're going to be adding more. So there's 8 classes right now, Hogue, and they're going to be adding more classes, more bosses, and kind of more content through the year. So.
Wait, is there a class called Executor and then another one called Executioner?
No, he's called Executor. There's no Executioner. Okay. I think people are just calling it that because that's kind of how he plays. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He helps carry out your will when you die.
Yeah, it's like you want to say Executor, but it doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? So
those are both right. Yeah. Executor and Executor are both right.
It just sounds, I don't know, it sounds weird to me, to my ears. But anyway, that's Nightreign. It is $40. It's not a $70 game. You can get the deluxe edition with like the soundtrack, art book, and all of the DLC to come for $55. So it's not a bad deal in that sense. And we'll obviously talk a little more about this probably in a couple weeks when we've had ample time. I will write something up on this game in probably the next week before Summer Game Fest. So, but yeah, really enjoying it. So. It's a quirky addition to the FromSoft library. I will say that. I would love to hear the story of how this kind of came about and what Miyazaki thought. I forget the director of this game's name, but it's his first time directing a game, I believe. Someone can correct me. So, I'd love to hear the background on it at some point. So.
It sounds like the game design is good enough for you two, but it does seem like, at least as a project, there were some strange skips of cross-play, cross-progression, duos, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
and the misses are big, by the way. Like, people get over the multiplayer like failings because I think frankly they're used to it if they're FromSoft fans, but they're pretty big in this game. Like they stick out like way more because it's a multiplayer only game. So I don't take I think the 7 out of 10s and kind of middling reviews, like mixed reviews. I think it has mixed reviews on Steam right now. I get that because I do think that they're big enough to where like some people are just going to be like, look, it's a multiplayer game. But yeah, I mean, when you're playing it, when it works, when you have a crew together, etc., it's a fun, fast paced kind of. I think of it as like Elden Ring Light. It like plays a little bit more arcadey than
Yeah, it's like arcade Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, it's quite funny. But I remember the first couple matches, like I tried to solo it, and I just like exploring and figuring it out. So I was kind of playing it like I had played Elden Ring, you know, like, oh, what's over there, and kind of trotting over and
Way
stuff.
too
And I was
slow,
like, okay, I
yeah.
cannot play this game this way. I was
Yeah.
getting destroyed. So, by the way, shout out to my good buddy Steel Rainey. Says the modder for the co-op mod immediately released a duo mod that's online compatible within 2 days. So I guess that's already out if you're on PC. So
yeah, I got stuck with the Xbox version. Extra codes. Nobody wanted the Xbox codes from Elden Ring, just so you know.
It's really annoying because I've got friends playing on literally all 3 platforms, and it's stupid. It should have crossFplay.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, people called out as early as the beta test that it was a mistake. So obviously, my guess is that they just FromSoft for whatever reason, right? They didn't have time to implement crossplay, but that's not really.
I hear it's hard. Every dev I know who's done it has talked about how hard it is.
Oh,
so.
yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Getting systems to talk to each other is always hard, right? So I suspect they just didn't have the skill set in the company at the time, right? Does anything else they make have a robust crossplay feature?
Nothing they make has robust multiplayer.
No, that's what I mean. It's not from
pedigree.
That's not what they do. Yeah. So to your point, they probably don't have the expertise. I'm sure they looked at it, right? And it was probably like, shit, this will probably take 18 months to implement with an extra team. And they probably just were like,
I kind of assumed this project was them like finding an excuse to address all their long running online connectivity problems. Like they were like, let's just make a multiplayer game that'll force us to get good at this. Nope.
So I think the question in my head is whatever Miyazaki's working on for their main game next, right? It'll be interesting to see if it has co-op, how they manage it,
takes the learnings from this.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. But anyway, that's enough on Nightreign. We'll talk more about it, like I said, and I'd at least give it a look if you're into that style of game, and don't think of it as Elden Ring or a traditional FromSoft game. It is not. It's very different. So the only other thing I want to mention, which is not what we've been playing, but we were joking about this before the show, Travis, and it definitely looks like Arc Raiders, which we talked a lot about a few weeks ago. People have found that the game files are executable and literally store in the stores, and they are rated, ESRB rated and everything. So it looks like this game is pretty much getting ready to launch. People suspect it's going to launch next week at Summer Game Fest.
Yep.
So pretty exciting. I know a lot of people hoping for this one.
Yeah, I played that beta and I was like, this game is basically done. And so when people were making the Marathon to Arc Raiders comparison, they were like, but Marathon has a release date and this doesn't. I was like, bro, if you think Arc Raiders is coming out after Marathon, you are high.
Well, I think their response was unexpected too, because they actually, if you played in the beta, and this was on their Discord as well, the dev team themselves were asking people if they think the game was ready to release. Like, do you think we should release this? I think they were planning to dev more on it, and it got so popular so quickly. It's like, why not take advantage of that and jump on it? You know what I mean?
I think when they were planning to dev it for longer, it was still going to come out at the latest in summer. I don't think.
I figured more like August, but hell, why not jump it?
Yeah, especially since it's the type of game where they're likely going to be building on it as they go. Like they should just launch the bare bone version and get people on it as quickly as possible, especially while they have the wind at their back. Agreed.
Yeah, and you're not going to get more eyeballs than next weekend. So
exactly. So I mean, do a trailer during the SGF showcase saying it's out now, and call it a day. So I'm excited for it. So that'll be a good one. But All right, boys. So let's jump over to conversation here about lovely EA canceling another game, but there is some context
Cool.
here, so I want to talk about this. So we got news this week. Electronic Arts has shut down the Black Panther game. To be clear, just because there seemed to be some confusion, the 1943 game that's being written by Amy Hennig that has Black Panther in it, this is not. This is the Black Panther dedicated game that was part of a 3-game deal with Marvel from EA that was being run by Cliffhanger Games. And
this
Cliffhanger
is the game you
Games,
probably forgot anything about that you ever knew, which is one of the reasons
because
why
it was announced
canceled.
a few years ago. Yeah, and just we never saw anything of it. But Cliffhanger Games, the studio that EA had working on it, has also been shut down. I kind of went back through some of the notes here just to make sure we had our information correct. So they IGN had the internal email that the I believe it's the president, one of the C-suite people at EA said, basically saying that these are tough, but they still have their partnership with Marvel. They're still going to make 3 games. Motive's Iron Man game is still in development, and that they have other games for now, and they have other games working. They also said that per GameFile, that's Stephen Totillo's company reporting, that EA is endeavoring to place these affected individuals in other roles across the company, which we hear before. But Stephen Totillo did point out, just I guess as a little caveat, that EA does employ 800 more people as of March than they did last year. So they are growing, but it seems like they're really focused on some core franchises.
Few games,
In the email, it says the company is focusing on a small handful of franchises going forward: Battlefield, The Sims, Skate, and Apex Legends. So
there you go.
Okay, there you go. Why Skate is part of that is interesting, but I get it. I like Skate, but that's
part of the portfolio.
Yeah, because they're
Flagship.
looking for generalized revenue brands. So that goes in their EA Sports bucket, right? Like that's not mentioned separately. But one of the things that has had a lot of discussion the last week is also College Football 26 and the cover images and the various things that are getting added to that game. So this reminds me so much of how Electronic Arts operated and looked at the video game industry, like just before they tried to convince gamers that they were doing new stuff with like Dead Space and Mirror's Edge. Like that period of time, like just before then, when they were winning all those worst company in the world awards. And so it appears to be a kind of turtling up, a circling of the wagons around what they know they can make money with, which I think is a shame for people that want to see these big companies make new and exciting things. But I don't have any tears to shed for another Marvel game. I just don't care. I don't care about Wolverine. I don't care about the Iron Man game that survives. I don't care about Black Panther. I'm at least mildly interested in, what is it called? 1943, the Captain America Black Panther game. So that one might be good, but I just don't care. And I think that's a problem with licensing and intellectual property, right? We saw it with Ubisoft. We saw it with Star Wars and its flag not flying quite as high as Ubisoft had thought it might. We see it now with Electronic Arts. Marvel in general is at a lower kind of intellectual property pitch than it was when these licenses were probably signed up. And Electronic Arts is trying to manage its portfolio, seems to be trying to get rid of in-licenses and resources spent on those in-licenses overall. So we see Respawn going through things with their Star Wars license. We see this one getting canceled. I don't know what kind of money they're spending on Motive making an Iron Man game. I suspect not as much as some other projects they've got working. But yeah, it's the nature of the business. We see a contracting game industry because it's not going to be the same industry that you could have maybe projected out in 2020. And companies like EA, which are very conservative, small c, in terms of how they see the industry, what resources they want to spend making products in the industry, look at it and say, we don't need to spend money on intellectual property licenses that aren't bringing buyers in the door. So that's, I think, all a part of this.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. And I think just to shout out, because some of the chat's calling too. So Jason Schreier had an additional report on this too, trying to dig into some of the details. And apparently Cliffhanger wasn't making good progress either, which compounds the issue. It was in pre-production for years. So I that always sounds really weird to me, guys. I don't know about you, but like we talk about this a lot, and I know Xbox has been guilty of this at times. I mean, all the companies have, but it feels like you get this game announcement. They have a studio, you have these dedicated resources. It'll be 2-3 years will go by, and then out of nowhere, they're like, "Oh yeah, barely any progress was made. They never got out of pre-production." It's like, don't you have any interim check-ins more readily available that would alert you
I'm
to
sure they
that?
do. Yeah, I'm sure they do, but you don't shut down an entire studio and cancel a project when you don't make uh y- as much progress in like the first 6 months. You know what I mean? It probably just is one of those
No,
things
but
where
how are
it's
you
like,
not?
it's
You
not
telling me
working.
they're making like they're actually making leadership shifts or changes like every 6 months, and then 3 years go by. They've done that 6 times, and then they decide
Oh,
to shut it
I
down. It
don't
just
think they're
seems odd.
making leadership changes that often. No, I think they're just doing. It's like if you ever been fired from a job where you like performance mattered, like
No.
you get like let me tell you how it goes. I'm just kidding.
Yes, Travis, walk us through it.
So I've had to fire people like when I ran a sales team
I've
back in the day
fired people. I haven't been fired.
for performance reasons though.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like you don't just fire them right away, right? You create like a performance improvement plan, and
Well,
then
that's
Sure.
there's
my
you know what I
fault.
mean,
That's the
like
lawyer's fault. You're trying to
yeah.
head off lawsuits.
That's Hoag's fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
But
it is part of that, but it's also because like if it's strictly performance, it's just a matter of like calculus that they keep their job or not, right? Like they have to be making more money than it costs to keep them, and so you can straight up like math it out, like, hey, I just want you to get to here, and then you'll be okay. And so I'm sure there's some level of that. I mean, it's harder because it's a creative undertaking, but just if you're wondering how this could happen, go and watch any documentary about a game studio and you'll understand how this happens. Like the Double Fine one is a great example. Not as bad, that game actually finished, it got out, but you can see the problems, and they had leadership changes in that documentary that didn't happen until way longer in the project, probably should have happened sooner. And
I was going to say, I could
it's
say
a
a lot
huge
of
thing.
nice things about Tim Schafer in his creative capacity. I'm not sure I can say as many nice things about his project management. And I think when you talk about the big money studios like EA, you do have people in those offices that primarily got MBAs and know the money side of things and know how to allocate resources, but they also know like the danger signs, the warning tales of having their C-suite executives get too deep into the creative side of things. So you see a company stalling, you see a company not being able to get out of pre-production, not solve the problems that need to be solved to get the project going, but you don't want to be that executive that is just the guy that's going and strangling ideas in the crib and not allowing the creatives to do their thing. So you try to give them a longer leash, and you wind up 4 years down the line, and somebody has to make the resources work. So I don't think this is the way you want to run things. I don't think 4 years in pre-production is normal, but I do see how a big bureaucratic organization can get stuck there. That doesn't mean it's operating correctly either. You need some bravery in these roles. I don't think that exists at EA. I think that's how you get BioWare kind of slowly dying and not having
yeah.
seemingly anybody watching what they're making. But this company, Cliffhanger, as I understand it, was made for this purpose within EA and didn't do anything else, right? Like they never had any history. They never released anything. So that doesn't mean I want to see anybody lose their jobs, but this was an attempt by EA to essentially make a subsidiary within themselves for this purpose. They didn't get that purpose done. The natural thing to kind of happen when that purpose doesn't get done is to completely cut off the enterprise.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. It seems so prevalent. You know what I mean? Like we seem to talk about this almost every week.
Games are hard.
Yeah,
Games are hard,
it's
and I think it's
crazy.
probably harder when you have like, I don't know the situation at the studio, but I know that sometimes these large creatively bankrupt corporations that try to make games and say, "Hey, look, we signed a deal with Marvel, and you're going to get to put together this Black Panther game," and maybe nobody on the studio is excited about that. And it's like a creative process, and I think a lot of times these companies try to turn a creative thing that requires like passion and dedication into like a making widgets type job. Just pump out the thing that you make, and it's just not like that.
I was trying to be generous to that kind of take, Travis, in suggesting that 6 levels of bureaucracy between the money and the creatives is going to create situations like this. But I don't think you have to just assume that everybody that was in this entity that was created for this purpose is secretly hating EA and Marvel and everyone else.
I don't think they are. I think that they were probably assigned to this project, though, don't you?
Yes, I mean that would have been how you would assemble a team, but we don't know what that looked like internally.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
yeah, I think we get the same sentiment. I'm just a little harsher on these companies.
Yes, you are. I don't love Electronic Arts, but I do see how these kinds of things can happen. And no, overall, other than these individuals and the loss of jobs and all that entails and that we can feel sorry about, I don't think anything of value was necessarily lost in this game not being released. So
yeah.
I look at this
Probably
and say, okay, that's fine. And then you start to get kind of the pieces about, oh, this was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. This was going to use a variation of the Nemesis system. You're going to have all these Black Panthers and all these things. It's like, yes, I understand how the project got greenlit. I understand what they were focused on. The fact that they couldn't solve some of these issues is suggestive of a game and a project that was not coming together in the way that you can best imagine it when you hear these descriptions from wherever you're hearing them. So this is a thing that happens a lot in video gaming, and I think in movie making as well, although not as much, is that you get canceled projects and then you get the absolute elevator pitch, boardroom pitch, perfect ideal of what this thing could have looked like when it was finished. And you say, oh man, we got robbed of this awesome opportunity. And that's not how it was coming together.
Yeah. I think canceled projects, they live in the benefit of us not having seen the final product, but I think it will always exist in your mind better than it was going to be, especially if it was a canceled project.
Scalebound, anyone? Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I think we all knew how that game was going to look.
That one didn't look great from the start.
It didn't, but that was like a thing in the Xbox community for years of trying to get that game.
Everybody was saying like, yeah, come back. And I was like, I think you guys dodged a bullet on that one, honestly. I think that was a rightfully canceled project.
Well, along those same lines, as we just talked about with EA, it's just this morning, actually, People Can Fly announced this, which I'm going to put on the screen right now. And I don't know if I want to read the whole thing, but basically they said they have made the decision to suspend the development of both their projects. It says the consequence of the fact that the publisher has not presented us with a draft of the subsequent content rider to the publishing agreement covering the terms and conditions and further milestones of Project Gemini, and lack of communication from the publisher to its willingness to terminate the Gemini project. So Hogue, I'll let you comment on this in a second here, but basically what is the result of this is the fact that People Can Fly is going to downsize. They are canceling their two main projects they were working on, one of which was assumed to be an Outriders sequel. And let's not forget, they are also helping on Gears E-Day with the Coalition. So if that's been affected, I'm not sure. That may be under a different agreement, but regardless, People Can Fly is facing some heat this morning. So when they're pointing all fingers at the publisher there, Hogue, what's your take on that?
They are. That's what devs do. And that doesn't mean they're wrong, but that's what a dev will do in this situation. Yeah. So you're a developer, your People Can Fly. You sign a publishing agreement. We know that Square Enix published Outriders, for instance. We don't know that Square Enix is the publisher here, but the publisher...
they did. Sorry, Hogue. They did say the Square Enix project is canceled, so it kind of leads to that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think there's a strong suspicion that the publisher, capital P, in that statement is Square Enix, but we don't know for sure. I don't think. Yeah. So the publisher signs up that agreement as well. The publisher is the money man. They're putting the money in. This is what you're going to pay your development salaries with. This is how you're going to run your company for a period of time. And so the publisher says, great, but we don't want you to just take our money and run off to an island somewhere. So you have to make a deliverable for us. And we know it takes years to make a video game. So that deliverable is going to be cut up into slices. Those are going to be milestones. And you're going to deliver those milestones to us. But we understand that the creative process is not a linear one. And we don't know what we don't know about how this thing is going to come together. So there will be some leeway in the milestones, and there will be the ability to extend milestone times or have additional milestones added to the time frame that we'll put in an exhibit to the agreement. And what that statement reads like to me is People Can Fly saying, okay, we talked to our publisher and we said, this one isn't coming together on exactly that timeline. We need this milestone to do this, or we need 2 more milestones on this, but we're also going to need $400,000 to get there because we need another 6 months, whatever it might be. And that's a normal part of the publishing process. It's not anyone anybody likes. You try to get everything out in front as best you can, but that's not how games come to be. And so what they are saying in that statement is we're in this period of time where seemingly we've hit the milestones we were supposed to hit because they didn't terminate the contract, but we have this extension period where we need more milestones, we need more time, we need more money, whatever it might be, and we can't get the publisher to agree to any kind of important terms that we might need. We don't know what those might be in this context, but Square Enix is essentially looking at this, if they are in fact the publisher in this statement, and saying, we are either going to negotiate harder than they're asking for in terms of milestones and money, or we're also kind of soft terminating. We don't think this project is coming together in the way that we would like, and so we're just going to let them die on the vine. And People Can Fly says that's fine, but we have lights to keep on, computers to keep running, people to be fed, and so we're going to have to strip this all down. This publisher agreement is effectively canceled, and we're going to have to figure out a new way forward. And that's the reality of business. It doesn't necessarily mean just from that statement that we can tell that either side was in the right or wrong, because it really matters what that ask was from People Can Fly, and it really matters what Square Enix's or any other publisher that might be the publisher in this statement, what their response was. And without that information, I know people are going to have feelings one way or the other on this. Generally speaking, I think people generally side with the developer, but a publisher that wants to get good games out the door also has to have certain controls of its financial situation and what it is moving forward in its portfolio. So when we complain about things like EA, or we complain about capital P publisher, whether it's Square Enix or someone else, this is a certain aspect of trying to keep the ducks in a row, trying to keep the productions in line. I don't know what I don't know on this, unfortunately, which is People Can Fly has released games before, so it would seem that they have a good production process in place. We also know that Outriders didn't do as well as I think either Square Enix or People Can Fly would have hoped. So there was probably a certain amount of friction behind the scenes as to this project continuing, if it was in fact an Outriders sequel.
That's
Very well
a lot
said,
of
Hope.
words.
Yeah, that was a lot of breath there, but well said.
A lot of words.
Sorry, Travis. I know you didn't listen past the first sentence, so it's okay.
Doesn't bother me at all.
I would have been interested to see what an Outrider sequel would have looked like. That game had some potential. It didn't
I really like Outriders.
Yeah, I wasn't as high on it as maybe some, but it had potential. Yeah, it's a shame. People Can Fly make some interesting games. Bulletstorm was their big hit decade plus ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Was that a big hit?
Well,
it was well known.
I think it was the thing that put them on the map, is maybe a better way to say it. But, that was fun at the time too. But yeah, it's, just a shame to see more of this. So wish everyone, obviously, at People Can Fly the best who's affected. And,
yeah, I mean, this seems like a preemptory statement to get you ready for the layoff statement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. A couple quick comments here. Eric, who I was just talking about earlier with Nightreign.
He offers $2.79 Canadian. Very strange super chat amount. To write Nightreign Goaty.
I think that. So I told you I played Goat Simulator 3. That might be Goaty spelled that way. I don't know what this spelling actually entails.
Me neither.
He's
of all time ish.
He's really been enjoying it. He has more time in it than I do, and he's been having a fantastic time. I think, like me, we both went into it thinking, we'll try this and see how it is, but he's really, really liked it. So, Eric, cool. Thank you for the super chat on Hoag's side of the house. Appreciate you. And Rob Frawley's here with a comment.
He's been a member for 29 months, and he writes, anyone who likes Telltale, check out Dispatch Demo.
Now, is it a demo of Dispatch, or is it actually called Dispatch Demo?
Dispatch Demo. That's how we'll know it from now on.
I have not heard of this.
It's just a really weird way of talking about a patch for a game.
Rob, thank you.
The game is called Dispatch.
Okay.
By Ad Hoc Studio.
Demo of Dispatch. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, that's the one with the cartoon team of super soldiers.
That's right. And the
all right,
famous voice actors. We saw this in a show. I think I was the only one who said that I thought it looked like it could be good.
Yes, I said it looked. I might have said terrible.
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, you did, Hoag. You were really down on this one. Yeah, upcoming action strategy game. Okay, I didn't realize there was a demo. I know Steam Next Fest is going on with a bunch of demos. So
I'll wait for the full game. I've had enough demo for. I had demo for lunch. Thanks. actually.
Fair enough. Well, I wanted to moving us on. I wanted to comment on and get your guys' thoughts on the report of this Xbox Portable. So, to provide some context here, and shout out to Jez, our buddy over there at Windows Central, for this report. But we talked earlier this year around an Xbox partnership portable coming later this year, which apparently is being developed by Asus, and it's going to basically look and feel more like a native Xbox device, even though it's not a native Xbox device. It's going to be Windows 11 OS, work with Game Pass, that type of thing, to compete with Steam Deck, etc. So, according to his report, Xbox was also working on a dedicated first-party Xbox handheld to come into the market. They have now put that on hold, and their focus is shifting instead to Microsoft's and Xbox's teams coming together on the gaming side of Windows 11 to build a better kind of operating system, or kind of probably structure in place to support working with third parties and getting Windows 11, obviously, and the Xbox ecosystem to be the primary focal point of that. So, I mean, this is just a report. There's not any really big news here in that sense. But what I wanted to ask you guys about as we get ready to, jump into the Switch 2. Obviously, we've talked about the Steam Deck at length, and there's plenty of other portables like the ROG Ally and others out there nowadays. They seem to be growing. And from what I've seen, that the percentage of people who own a device like this has been growing. What do you think about this? Are you interested in a competing Steam Deck product that is kind of Microsoft or Xbox or Windows focused? And or would you also be interested at all in a dedicated Xbox branded handheld to play in that ecosystem directly, kind of natively? What do you think?
Yes, sounds cool. I'll buy it. I don't know if I'll use it, but
You can stack it with your 7 Xbox S's.
I can. I can put it next to
Think of
my
a server
Steam Deck.
rack.
I can put it next to my 2 Steam Decks I never touch and my ROG Ally I never touch. Good times.
I sold my Steam Deck for that very reason.
I mean,
it's good in principle.
I have not been pitched on why I should care whether there's a green X on my device or whether it's an official Xbox product.
What happens if it's a black X?
I think Microsoft moving away from it has to be an Xbox portable to we're going to help support partners make things that maybe have some kind of Microsoft branding on them is the right idea. I don't know that anybody has completely proven a fully viable market for just portable unit sales. Even the Steam Deck leans heavily on the fact that you're a Steam player on your computer already. So I'm not sure that anybody has a great idea as to what this market actually looks like in size or what the possible profits are, especially with Nintendo kind of collapsing its own portable market into the Switch market. It's just not clear. PlayStation isn't competing on this. The Portal is not the kind of portable that we're talking about here. So Nobody really knows what money is there to be made. So I think Microsoft looks at this and says, let's let the partners take some of the risk. And that makes all the sense in the world to me from a business perspective.
From a hardware perspective. Yeah.
It's just that the reason for an Xbox branded portable is if you have games on Xbox, there's no way to use that in a portable ecosystem right now.
Yeah, that's what Lucius is calling out too.
You can't
play all your owned games.
Yeah,
right.
You can't play it on the Switch. Like there's really no, so like, or if you're a Game Pass subscriber or if you've just invested a lot in the Xbox ecosystem, there's no answer for how you access that portably. And so I see the opening there, right? It's for people who are already in that ecosystem, or a way for Xbox to get more people to invest in the ecosystem, since they know that now they have a way to take that library portable. My issue with a third party making this and it being less embedded in Xbox is I think the whole point is a reliable portable version of the Xbox Series S that can play every game that console plays. And the more third party you go, the more universalistic it becomes, the less specific it could be in terms of actually accomplishing that goal. And so I think that's the risk in doing that, but probably the right call on Microsoft. They got a lot going on. They're a big company. They can outsource it and have another team work on it. I just hope that they remember that the whole point of this device, my perspective, is that it should be able to replicate the Xbox experience and playing your entire library there on that device. And so hopefully they accomplish that.
100% agreed. Yeah, and I think the Xbox ecosystem we talked about before is well suited for that, right? I've said many times I don't think they get enough credit actually for what they've built in terms of the crossover between console and PC, how you get the game both places, where Game Pass works, cross progression, cross play, like all of that is built in. So if you give me a portable device that can access that natively, as you're suggesting, Travis, I'd be on board for sure, because it just makes a lot of sense. So, but I agree with you. It has to feel native, even if it's not. And depending on how involved they are in that partnership on whatever specific devices, that can feel and look different. So I guess we'll see what this Asus device looks like, which is apparently still coming. Hopefully we get it. You know, we've got the Xbox Showcase a week from today. I don't know if they're going to talk about such things. They have in the past. Nope. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think so. One thing that he did say in this report too is that the Series X successor is unaffected and still, in active development. So at least for our console fans, we'll see what that next follow-up Xbox looks like.
I love active development as a phrase for a piece of hardware, because I have to imagine like a welder or something with sparks flying and a mask down.
There's some of that.
Yeah.
Got to get a welder out at some point.
What's really interesting about those hardware pieces, right, is not even just controllers, right, is the amount of iteration they go through. It's pretty fascinating when you get stuff gets behind the scenes of how many iterations they go through to finalize. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, whatever the next box is, like certain bits of the design were decided on or thought about years ago already.
Many years ago. Yes. Yeah. So I've talked to Jason Ronald about that directly, and like, those guys, when you, not just Xbox, right, but any of the people making these things, they're mapping out 8 to 10 years, which when you just think about how technology is evolving, right, and the rate it's evolving, it's kind of crazy. It's like
tough runway.
Yeah, very tough.
It's hard to guess at the progress of technology.
Yeah. Big time.
Progress faster than science is impossible.
Thanks, Googleman.
That's a quote from Earth Defense Force, for anybody wondering. A game with dialogue that makes no sense.
Comment. Yeah.
That Earth Defense Force 6 purchase is by far my worst in the last 3 years. Like, I will never get any further value out of that.
I warned you, bro. But yeah, progress faster than science is impossible is a staple in my, I say that all the time, anytime somebody's talking about science.
Hold on. I'd like to also contrast that, Hogue, or at least counter that a bit. You sure it's not Berserker?
It's not. I have enjoyed Kazan significantly more than
but you could have enjoyed the parts of Kazan you've played for free.
I will beat the demo at some point.
Yeah, but unless you get even 1 second farther than the demo, you technically have made a very bad purchase.
But I've enjoyed my time with it. You see, I spent the money on Earth Defense Force and didn't enjoy any of my time with it. So
that's just because you didn't get to Earth Defense Force 9. The game that exists in the game Earth Defense Force 6.
I wish
I told you guys about
like
that, right?
Did, Travis.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy game.
It sounds like a mess, but
it's a mess of a game.
We got a quick super chat from Don Lionheart coming in with a random comment here.
Don Lionheart, $2 super chat. Finally started Expedition 33. In Act 2, I have ellipses thoughts.
I'm not getting trapped in this conversation again this weekend.
Sure you do, Don. We'll talk about
Talk about how it's a Souls-like, so the co-counsel will leave.
Don, if you want to go yell at me for my thoughts on Expedition 33, you can do it on the Last Stand Media side of the house. Lots of people are doing that. That is a full spoiler cast, though, so you shouldn't do it until you've beaten the game.
There you go. Thank you, Don, for the super chat. And enjoy the rest of your time with it. Yeah, I can't hear Souls like. I'm turning my camera off every time I hear Souls like from now on. It's over.
I didn't say anything about Souls.
No, you didn't. That was definitely Travis.
I didn't say it. I didn't say anything.
I heard it.
I didn't say it. Must have been.
I haven't read into this one too much, but I wanted to cover it because we've talked about this stuff before, and I know Hogue, you talk about this stuff in more detail sometimes as well, which is around the Zenimax and Microsoft contract. So from what I read here, and feel free to correct me, but basically over 300 of their already unionized quality assurance workers at Zenimax Media They were threatening to strike, and they are unionized under the CWA. But basically, they have come to an agreement in principle, I believe, not ratified yet, but they've come to a agreement in principle to basically increase salaries, give them protections against arbitrary dismissal, which I think is a funny phrase anyway, and other things, obviously, to kind of give them more job security at a very high level. So this was reported on this week. Hogue, I know that you do talk about these things in detail. We've talked about them a lot on the show. But any thoughts or commentary on this, if you would, because Don and I, funny enough, or Don in our group at SG, were talking about this phrase of arbitrary dismissal as part of this contract. Any thoughts or commentary on that you'd like to add?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think one of the things that happens when we talk about unions is that people tend to put them in buckets. Unions good, collective bargaining good, big evil companies bad. And so you look at this and you say it's a great thing. I think certainly by the time that you're recognizing a union, a branch of the Communication Workers of America at Zenimax, and in this particular circumstance, the Zenimax quality assurance testers, right, the QA folks, then once you've unionized, you want a collective bargaining agreement to go through. So any kind of news that the CBA is close to getting ratified and signed is a good thing just for the process more than anything else. But this isn't terribly unusual. We knew Microsoft was essentially trying to show its soft underbelly for the entirety of the Activision Blizzard case to the government, saying we're really into unions and we want to agree with these unions as fast as possible on things like a CBA. So it's not a surprise that this one got done as quickly as it did. The things referenced here are what you would expect a union to go after. Arbitrary dismissal is just a response to the concept that almost every job in America is terminable at will by either the employer or the employee. And unions come in and try to get contracts that have specific requirements as to what you have to do to terminate someone, right? And you certainly hear horror stories about people locked in rooms because you can't fire them without meeting certain union requirements. That's not always the case. It's just a set of parameters that would be agreed to in a contract to terminate an employee. As Travis was talking about, the steps you have to take essentially to avoid lawsuits codified in a contract like a collective bargaining agreement, a CBA. Like you also pointed out, because a collective bargaining agreement is about collective bargaining, the representatives of the union can go forward and agree in principle to terms, but they have to bring them back to their union to vote up. Now, almost all the time that will happen, especially with a baby union like this one hasn't signed a CBA before. So I think this is probably pretty close to done. I think it's a good thing overall for this process to be over with because everybody wants to work, everybody wants that contract and the terms to be known. But this isn't at all a surprise once you have Microsoft going out to the world with, we are going to acknowledge unions without requiring votes. We're going to try to get CBAs done as quickly as possible. We are good boys. We are good actors, government. Don't do anything bad to us. This is exactly what Microsoft was asking to have happen, so it's not a surprise.
All fair. Yeah. I would just like to call out, too, as someone who's worked in development for a very long time now, QA is almost universally underappreciated. They are a very critical part of development, both of all types of code, whether you're talking about games or applications. And QA and UAT usually draw the short end of the straw. So I hope this works out. I hope they come to some sort of agreement that benefits them. Yeah, QA, they do what they say on the tin.
They do actually. They have one of the more directed titles in video gaming. So yeah.
Yeah, QA. No, seriously. Like I have QA people in my group, and I work with our enterprise QA, and I have done for a very long time, and it always underappreciated. And I've had myself to argue with C-suite executives about the benefit and need of QA and UAT. It's an endless battle. I don't know why it's an endless battle, but it is. And just shout out to the people who work those roles, because the things you get would be broken a lot more, or they wouldn't release it all without these people. I'm telling you that now.
They'd be broken even more than they are now. Oh, no.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Trust me.
If they are broken, obviously that means you can blame QA.
Nah.
That's right.
So we just need QA to put the quality in QA.
But anyway, yeah, good for them. Wish them the best. I believe they said June 20th was the date that is being targeted there. So we'll see what happens.
For ratification vote?
Yes. So guys, you'll never believe it. Ubisoft is teasing a game called Splinter Cell.
All right, let's move on to the next topic.
It's like they have a box. It's like they have a box to break open.
PlayStation deal days. PlayStation deal days. Anybody picking anything up on PlayStation deal days?
He didn't even read the rundown. He skipped one, but
that's okay.
It's all
Anybody
right.
playing PlayStation deal days? What do you guys?
We are actually already talked about that. But regardless, yes, they're teasing it again. They have teased Splinter Cell, as we all know, or put Sam Fisher in everything but a Splinter Cell game for a very long time now. Do you, Bitcast bet, gentlemen, do you believe we're actually going to get a new Splinter Cell game anytime soon?
No.
We'll get a Splinter Cell as soon as we get Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
here's
I've
why I
been
don't
burnt
think
by this
they'll.
one too many times.
I think they have to announce the game first because I have to imagine that any stealth.
They already announced it. They announced it last year.
What? The Splinter Cell game?
Officially, yes. After teasing forever, they announced last year that a new Splinter Cell game is in development.
So I haven't really checked who they've been hiring, but I feel like they would have to hire a whole different crew to work on a Splinter Cell game that they don't currently have. So I think we're at least a couple years out.
It's the Beyond Good and Evil 2 crew. They're doing both of them. They're fine.
Yeah, they're stealth chops on the Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I'll tell you what, until I see differently, if I see just a picture of Sam Fisher on a social media post, I'm going to assume that he's joining Skull and Bones.
Damn it, you found a way to get that into this episode. Look at you.
Yeah,
it's the truth.
Goggles on the front of the ship.
Yeah, you put the goggles on the sails. It's just a black background with the green lights as your sails.
Could you imagine pirates having night vision back then? That's a distinct advantage, you know.
Yeah, night vision pirates.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know about this one, guys. They just teased a picture as they always do, and we were talking about it on our Discord, and it's just like, why? Why do they do this? Wait until you're showing something. The optimistic people are thinking Ubisoft is doing this because we're going to get a trailer or a teaser at Summer Game Fest.
Well, let's hold on. That is a separate question. You said, do you think we're going to get a Splinter Cell game?
No, I wasn't asking a question. I said the optimistic people are thinking this. That wasn't a question.
I think a trailer is very possible, though. A teaser.
Okay.
It's just that does not mean, that is not any indication that we're going to get the game soon. Yeah.
But the teaser is just that social media photo slowly zoomed in on. That's it. That's all you get.
Sure. I could see
Which
that.
looks like it was made by AI to begin with.
Yeah. Some person walking out as the Splinter Cell logo pops up and then talking about how their game is going to be people getting jump scared. What's the Kojima? Yeah, that's the new thing, right? They just do that.
People getting jump scared.
Yeah, that video of people being. Remember the Kojima announcement? What was that game called?
Oh, the OD one.
Yeah, that's just how you announce games now. You just have people getting jump scared, and then somebody walks out and goes, "I'm making a game." That's the entire.
Yeah,
that's the move now. It's
just the Sam Fisher picture that turns into a screaming OD person.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, if you're not aware, too, Ubisoft is not doing a UB forward this year, right? Obviously,
UB backward.
You.
Damn it, Hogue.
Did you guys say the same thing at the same time? Look at these two lovebirds. Look at these two lovebirds.
Look at us. Hogue, this is for you. Imagine that happened right on the nape of your neck. Little kiss from me.
I'll try not to imagine.
I'm trying not to. Let's check it real quick. What does Paddington think about Splinter Cell?
Hey.
No.
Now you know what would look good? We put the little 3 light goggles just on the top of his little red hat.
Over it. That'd be great.
I don't get the Paddington joke. I really don't get it.
Hey,
he's awesome. There's no joke here. It's just it's always nice. It fills the heart to see Paddington.
When we don't put him up, we get comments asking where he is. I think people like Paddington more than us, honestly.
I think you're just Paddington the episode out.
Hey, look, we all suffer with bouts of self-doubt or self-value. I am fully willing to sit here and say I am less valuable than Paddington Bear.
I've never experienced self-doubt. So there we go.
I don't even think that was true while you were saying it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
We got a couple super chats flying in here about this, so let's grab them quick here.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Travis, thanks for the reminder. Wait, what was the reminder?
I don't know.
Happy June, everyone. That means it's Yakuza month. Infinite wealth, here I come. 60% off PSN, all versions.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the entire Yakuza series
PlayStation
is
Play
on sale.
Days. That's what he's saying. Thanks for the reminder.
Oh, he might not have been here earlier for the play days. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, there really are some great deals out there. Definitely. Check them out. And while we're on it, like I said, Steam Next Fest is happening too. A bunch of demos like Dispatch and tons of other games you can try right now for free. Speaking of, we'll get back to that. Hold that thought. Thank you, Don, for the super chats. As always, appreciate you, brother. Fat Boy Horror in the house.
Fat Boy Horror, £5. He writes Splinter Cell at the same time as Sega release a new Phantasy Star. We want it, but it ain't happening. And then he's got 5 ellipses. That's an illegal move, sir.
The what?
The extra ellipses.
Extra ellipses. You can do 4 if it's the final statement in the ellipses, but 5 is just incorrect.
5's pushing it.
Yeah.
He's British. You got to forgive him. Fat Boy is a huge Phantasy Star fan. It's a running joke between us. So because
we could use one.
Star. Yeah, it'd be great. Not an online, a true Phantasy Star, please.
I think I've expressed my concerns that Expedition 33 causes like every other RPG to use a system like that one. But on the optimistic side, if the success of Expedition 33 just kind of knocked some of the old JRPG brands out of the trees that are currently holding them, that would be lovely. If we get new Phantasy Star because of things like Expedition 33, I would love that.
Yes, give us Phantasy Star and give us Shining Force. Bring them back. Come on. Thank you, Fat Boy. One game I forgot to call out. Just before I forget, I want to mention it because I don't know if I can mention it. All right, hold that thought. So, what are you picking up for Switch 2 this week? Switch 2 comes out Thursday, and what do you?
There's only one game to pick up, Ames. There's only one game.
There is not only one game to pick up.
Tell him,
but I do want to say that I have a sad announcement here for the Bitcast and our Bitcast viewership. I may not be getting a Switch 2, or at least not at launch, because Walmart tried to charge my credit card yesterday, and my credit card in its infinite wisdom said, we have declined it for fraud prevention. Is this a valid charge? At which point I said yes immediately, and I said, come on, for God's sakes. But we'll see if I wind up getting charged and get a Switch 2 at launch, or whether that was my one shot and staying up till 2 a.m. that one night a month ago was to no avail. So I hope that's not the case. Thank you so much, Bank. But we'll see what happens.
If you only
that happened to me too, but Best Buy has like you have 48 hours to update it policy. So I just updated it.
There was no update needed. They just declined the charge. And then I said yes. And they said, well, your merchant has to retry and we'll let it go through now. So it's like, okay, presumably they will give another fraud prevention run, but there's no guarantees there.
Yeah.
Can I back up 1 second?
Sure.
You said you were up till 2 a.m.
I was up till 2 a.m. the night that we had to do the pre-orders.
Why weren't you playing multiplayer with Ains and I?
Yeah. I mean, you'll do it for.
I don't think I was invited.
Not for your pals. Come on.
Always invited. You just always go to bed at 8 p.m.
Okay, so to be clear, while it was taxing and stressful to monitor 4 different websites at the same time, that is a different level of dexterity required than to actually play a video game with y'all. And I was collapsing at my desk.
You don't need dexterity to be carried lovingly in the arms of
backpack.
2 of your bros.
No, but I know how you feel about carrying people now, Travis.
They call me Mariah because I carry.
See, he's the young one. His topical and timely references.
Yeah, if he's the young one on the show, you know where we're at. So Switch 2, sadly, arriving like a couple hours after I leave for LA, so I won't have it for the trip. But I think I'm actually going to pick up, obviously, Mario Kart, right? I got the bundle, but I think I'm going to pick up Jamboree as well, Mario Party.
I have this image in my head now of me sitting there sadly doing the window meme wishing I had a Switch, and there being a Switch just sitting on your porch as you've flown to different state.
Well, it'll be in the house. My wife will bring it in, but yes, yeah, it'll. Yeah.
I've actually instructed your wife to not bring it in, so it'll be
a brown box on your island in your kitchen with a Switch 2 in it.
The sad
so
thing
I'll
is,
be the only person playing the Switch 2 at launch. Boom.
If you knew how many boxes of unopened game stuff are laying around here, you'd be shocked. There's literally a Witcher 3 10th anniversary Elite controller sitting over there just in its shipping box.
All right, well, let's pretend, let's put it out in the universe that I am getting a Switch 2 at launch. I would be getting a Pro Controller 2 in terms of hardware. I'd be looking at what case is getting the best review or what looks like it would work best for me.
Good call.
That could also hold the dock at the same time.
I would be asking which Nintendo Switch 2 case best defines me as a person.
I would be asking my video game sommelier, and I'd be getting that case. And then in terms of games, I also have, again, in this world where my credit card is charged and I get the purchase that I made, Mario Kart World Tour or Mario Kart
and
World.
since you made a point to say that there's more than just one game, what else?
Yeah, I'd almost certainly be getting Bravely Default at launch. It's rare for Square to release anything at launch, so I like to support that, even if it is a remake of a game I have already played. So I'd be getting Bravely Default. I'd be getting Mario Kart.
And
I would definitely be getting the upgrades for the Zeldas and then trying out the other games.
I would be getting the tech demo and nothing else. Just playing the tech demo.
I need to figure out how the Switch works.
That's right. I can't wait to see how they tutorialize me on how party chat works.
Travis is going to buy the welcome tour for all of us.
Yeah.
Mario Party Jamboree. Have either of you played that one?
Yes,
Hell yeah.
fantastic.
I remember we talked about it. Okay. Because, I heard that one's way better than the Mario Party they released a couple years ago.
It's their best Mario Party in years.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. Cool. I'm excited about it. I think I'm going to pick that up as well. And I've already said my piece about Donkey Kong next month. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I'm going to buy. A lot of people are buying Cyberpunk. I
might get Cyberpunk. Having a native version of the game that it's portable and that I can move it around sounds attractive.
Literally what I was just going to say. On our Discord, there's a bunch of people saying exactly that. Having Cyberpunk with its DLC, native, portable on the new hardware is a sell. So.
Yeah.
Travis's face. Why are you making that face?
I have to explain all my faces.
On that note, CD Projekt Red announced that Cyberpunk 2 is in pre-production, so get excited. I said 2030 will be here before you know it. That's maybe being generous, but we'll see that
2030 will be here before we know it. I don't know that CD Projekt Red will accompany it with Cyberpunk 2.
Fair. Yeah, very fair. But anyway, I'm excited. I wish I was taking it on the trip with me to LA, but pumped for it to get back. Travis, you have to let us know.
I will. Yeah, I'll be doing Switch 2 reviews that week it comes out, and then quickly pivoting to Dune, because Dune Awakening comes out the same day as the Switch 2, which is an insane decision by someone. And then also, yeah, I'm really glad I'm not going to the Summer Game Fest. That was a wise decision. As soon as I knew the Switch was coming out, that was
Hogue.
Yeah.
If someone asked you, or if you were asking someone to hang out with you as a friend, and they just constantly repeated that they were happy they weren't going to hang out with you, how would you feel about that?
I got to say, I assume that Travis just doesn't have the same social mores as the rest of the human race. So I don't think he means anything by it.
It's true.
Look, I'm going to be there. I want to hang out with you. Alex and I are hanging out for the first time.
Okay, that's pretty cool, especially since he's come. I can't believe they're letting him out of CCOP for that, which is cool. Good for him. And I would love to hang out with him. Also, pretty much all of IGN's down there, and they're all going to be partying and sending photos on social media. And a lot of them have asked me like, "Hey, are you coming down?" And I said no, because someone has to stay here and do the work, and that's me. And so I feel I'm going to have mad FOMO, but
you're going to be playing Dune for 16 hours straight. You're going to be
exactly
the God Emperor of mankind.
That's right. I will be Lisan Tai Gaib.
Well, it should be a good time next week. I think, as we already covered last week, we gave you the full rundown of the show. Quite literally, at this time next week, exactly 7 days from now, the Xbox show will be getting ready to start. I think at 12 Central, 1 Eastern. So that should be a good time. Reminder for anyone watching who's going to be in LA. I think we may have a few spots that have opened up for our watch party for the Xbox Showcase. If you want to swing by, it's free to come. Ping me, reach out to me. We can get you added to the list. That should be a good time. We've got some things to announce this week, special things. We did announce that we're doing a pre-show panel with Paris Lilly, Danny Pena, Brittany Brombacher, Andre Renee, and someone else as well.
You almost remembered all their names. Good for you.
I did. I know. I'm like trying to picture and I'm forgetting
all of their full names. I don't think I could do
that was really interesting.
But yeah, I mean, they're well known in the community, right? And Gamertag Radio, of course. And, so it's going to be good to have them come by, and we have some other things in the works. So, yeah, it'd be a good time, but looking forward to it. Anything that has come up. Oh, by the way, and Hogue, you'll probably enjoy this, of course, is that Kojima did announce this week that Sunday afternoon, he's doing a dedicated showing, 18 minutes long, I believe, if I recall correctly, of Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Just his trailer.
At a separate theater in LA.
The 18 minutes is just his new trailer.
I think it is. Yeah, I don't think I know that's a joke.
Even Hideo has not made an 18-minute long trailer.
Hasn't he?
I still cannot believe that its subtitle is on the beach. That is insane. That is insane.
2, I'm super excited about Death Stranding 2. It's one of the games that you can catch up with this year. Play Death Stranding. You can play the Mafias, get ready for Mafia. All sorts of good things are getting continued this year. I think Death Stranding 2 is going to be one of the stronger games of the year. I am probably not going to watch an 18-minute gameplay demonstration. Sorry, Hideo. I'm sure you're hanging on to see if Hogue's going to watch. But I am very excited about that game release.
Yeah.
It would be like if Expedition 33 sequel was called Expedition 33 Goes Tropical. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. It's a crazy thing to call your game.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the next game will be Clair Obscure, something ridiculous. So we'll see.
Oh, wrong thing. Death Stranding 3 in sensory deprivation tan. But anyway, it'll be a good time. Anything, any last minute thoughts, previews, things you want to see at Summer Game Fest next weekend?
I'm sad.
You want to see I'm Sad? Is that a new game?
Oh, sorry. That just slipped out. What are we talking about? I could have delivered that better, but I'm proud of it. Hogue, what do you want to see at Summer Game Fest? Me too. Ains?
Oh my god!
You got to Travis Goes Weird a little early this week, Travis.
Look,
yeah, we did. He's early.
If I were the host of the show, that's the energy. I would make it like 2 hours of just awkward energy. I got nothing to add to this.
That's sure to bring in the people.
You think Nintendo's going to show anything else? So Nintendo is apparently listed as a partner, right? Obviously, their launch is next weekend. You think they show anything new next weekend?
I think they promote the Switch too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Metroid Prime could use a little bit more coverage. That's going to be a big release for them.
Yeah. Okay. No, there's nothing. I think, as I've said, I think the Xbox show interests me the most, just because I'm looking forward to some of their games like Clockwork Revolution. So I hope we see that as is rumbled right now. But yeah, I'm not really sure otherwise.
My favorite part of Summer Games Fest is that you just never know who's going to pay Jeff to say their name. So Kojima's going to be there on the stage. I'll get to boo him, Hogue. I'm going to boo him just for you.
I love to.
Okay, you can boo Hideo Kojima to represent yourself, Ains. Do not boo him just for me.
I'm going to hold up a sign.
Kojima's work.
Hogue says you suck.
That would be very disappointing to me.
I wouldn't do that to you. I'm going to put Travis's name on there. He won't mind.
I really won't.
It'd be a good time though. But reminder, everyone, as we're joking around here, that next week is Summer Game Fest. So I'm out in LA. Travis is going to be doing reviews. We're not doing a show next week. We hopefully will be having a little segment to drop for you anyway next week. So we'll still have something on our channels for you to watch. But yeah, I hope you enjoy next week with all the announcements. Showcase on Friday, showcases on Saturday and Sunday, and then we will be back the week after to talk about it all. So until then, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up early today. I think I just want to call out, Travis mentioned Dune Awakening, and Steve's covering that for us, as I've said before. He did put up another article for a bunch of references to different Dune things that can get you kind of prepared for Awakening and things you may want to be aware of as you go into that game. So he's got his impressions and another article you can check out. Did we talk about the fact that Alex did put his Blades of Fire review up, Hogue? He gave it a 5.5, which
we did not talk about it yet. I did see that go up.
Yeah, so he gave it a 5.5, which for SG's quite low because we pick the games we review, right? So we don't have a lot of games that come in on the lower end of the spectrum. But yeah, he had some thoughts about that one. But
yeah, Alex seemed to have borrowed some of the points that Blades of Fire should have received and gave them to Expedition 33. But that's okay.
Interesting.
That's good. That's good. But anyway, we're gonna go wrap this up. Hogue, what do you got to call out, man?
I have absolutely no content to call out other than you heard earlier in this episode that I was on a spoiler cast for Expedition 33 over at Last Stand Media. So if you have beaten that game, I think it's a very good conversation. Other people in our comments disagree, so please join folks in yelling at me if you are so inclined after you watch that. Otherwise, I did no video content on the channel, even though I had thought about doing one in the Nintendo terms and conditions and some other things that people are asking me about. So I might make a video, put it on the channel soon. Might not. You won't know unless you subscribe and follow me. So come on over. Check my stuff out. I'm proud of the things that I release. I just don't release things as often as I used to.
There you go. Perfectly fair. Travis,
I have a suggestion. One more segment suggestion for the show, and I think you're going to like it, Ains. For this part of the show where we shill for the content we've created, we should call the segment Show Me Your Wares. And you go, all right, we're ending up the show. Everybody, Hope, show me your wares. And then he'll show you his wares. I'll show my wares. If we want, we can even get the voice clip from.
I was going to say, we could probably pull that clip. That's fair.
Of him saying, show me your wares. We could just have that come on. And he'd be like, show me your wares. And we'll each show the audience our wares. What do you think?
I am on that because I did start playing. I put a little time into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because I don't want to leave that game.
What a game.
Yeah. So I went back to it for a couple hours this week. I will get that clip and we will put that together for sure.
Cool. Well, my wares this week are that I finished my review for Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. And I know that Hogue loves hearing the whole title of
Great
that.
Great title.
Speaking of games with cross progression.
Games with cross progression, game I really, really enjoyed. Had a ton of fun with. Highly recommend. You can see my review. Other than that, I've got a bunch of stuff.
I honestly not going to play that one until the sequel, Fantasy Life I on the Beach.
That would work. That naming works.
That would be way more sense than Death Stranding on the Beach, I must say. Anyway, really like that game. And other than that, I've got a bunch of stuff in the hopper that's done, ready to go, but is not gonna come out yet.
It's not ready to be mentioned.
Not ready to be mentioned. I got other stuff I worked on.
Wow. I do know, Travis, that you did mention earlier, though, that you wanted to talk about the fact that IGN is doing something special with your video reviews now.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hogue. IGN is doing this thing now where we do, for some reviews, we try to do an interview between the reviewer and the editor of IGN's game reviews, which is Tom Marks. Explaining a little bit deeper into the review and getting to know the reviewer a little bit more. We did this as a test just with, I think, South of Midnight was the first game, and the feedback was really positive. And so now we're trying to do it with more reviews. I've done 2 of these interviews. My first one was on Oblivion. Yeah, Oblivion was my first one. So you can see my history of nerddom when I talk about my relationship with the Elder Scrolls series. And then my second one was with Palia, where I talk about my history with cozy games and that sort of stuff. These are pretty cool. So if you want to watch my Paleo review or my Oblivion review, you can see my face on those.
See, I was going to pitch it slightly differently, Travis. I have a conspiracy theory that IGN is doing this to its reviewers so that its commentators know better what kinds of emotional sensitivities they might have and better able to direct their comments to really make people think about the choices they made in their life. So
that's fair.
If you'd like to know enough about Travis that you could really hurt him with the super chat or otherwise, you should check out these video interviews.
I also did notice that as soon as my first video came out with my face on it on IGN, one of the comments was, "Oh, okay, so I guess Travis doesn't do VO for his own reviews." Because as we've seen feedback here, people
your voice
do not
is wildly different when you put
people
on
do
that.
not think my voice in interview format is the same as my voice when I'm recording VO. And then I had to go into the comments and explain different mic, different, intentional tone because I was recording. Yeah. That's me.
It's cool though. Good reminder on that one for sure.
Ains, show me your wares.
I already did. I went first.
Cool.
Remember?
Yeah.
I've got nothing to tell you.
He doesn't remember. We've already established that Travis asks a question and then immediately
I remember
forgets.
he talked about Steve Esposito's thing. Yeah.
This thing. But yeah, we'll have a lot of coverage next week for Summer Game Fest. We're going to have a hub on SG for it. So yeah, I'd appreciate people swinging by. Should be a good time. Me, Ray, and Alex will be there covering things live. So we got a lot of appointments. We are back to back like crazy all 3 days. So it's going to be a good time. So cool. Well, thank you. I hope everyone has a great gaming week. Let's hope we get some great announcements next week and showcases, and we come back the following week excited to talk about all the cool things releasing. In the meantime, enjoy the games that you're playing. There's plenty of them to play. Thanks as always for hanging out with us here. We appreciate you greatly, and we will see you in a couple weeks' time. Till then, peace.
Hopefully with a Switch too.